Yo, what's good YouTube fam? It's your boy DaVon back with another legendary video. In this video, we'll be doing an AEW Collision review and results, and of course, more importantly, giving my personal opinion when it came to the overall show. I'm covering for January 4th, 2024, as this officially was the debut on Max, which was crystal clear. More importantly, I enjoyed it watching it on Max when it comes to the AEW programming. More importantly, it was a star-studded show from start to finish. We had the main event. We had the rated R superstar Cope, or Adam Copeland, which some of you are familiar with him, alongside with FTR and Trios action, taking on the learning tree of Chris Jericho, leading the charge with Big Bill and Brian Keith in the main event. We also had two title matches, as we had the TNT champion Daniel Garcia put on a star-studded match against Mark Briscoe. More importantly, we had the tag team championship to be defended on the line, as we end up having Private Party of Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy defending the gold against no other than Leo Rush and Action Andretti. As well on the card tonight, we had women's action to keep things rolling, as we had Toni Storm taking on Deonna Purrazzo, who had chemistry all the way up to the Indies, and now they're going at it again and battling on a Collision. We also had a Jeff Jarrett match that took place, which was not too bad, not too shabby, as he took on Aaron Solo. And we had an appearance from the Rock and Roll Express and a interesting closing when it came to Collision. But more importantly, let's go ahead and dive into it with everything that took place. And I appreciate you guys coming through and showing love and support. And let's dive into everything that took place for Collision. We started everything off smoothly with Tony Schiavone, Matt Menard, as well as Nigel McGuinness on the commentary. They welcomed everybody to Collision, and they get things into the transition for the opening match. The first match was the TNT Championship, as Daniel Garcia defeated Mark Briscoe in a star-studded match from start to finish, and I enjoyed every single minute of it. As Mark Briscoe lost to being the jackknife pin, and it was secured. More importantly, it was a whole lot that went on in that actual match. But I look forward to seeing more of it, and I was highly invested through the course of the whole entire match. But where they go from here when it comes to Daniel Garcia is racking up the wins, but I feel like is his run currently lackluster? I 100% think it's been lackluster. It's been kind of mid at best. But they need to find a better opportunity when it comes to Daniel Garcia. He was able to get the victory over no other than Mark Briscoe. They put on a clinic, but I'm feeling disappointed with the situation they've been going. Hopefully they keep us in the wind of pretty much keep racking it up, get him back on the course of getting the crowd back on his side, because it was a little bit flat from my own personal opinion. But hopefully they do something a little bit better when it comes to Daniel Garcia, because you know he can go. His mic skills are getting a little bit better, and more importantly, he can go in the ring through the course of every single opponent that he comes across. But maybe Tony Khan got something up his sleeve, and I look forward to seeing what goes on in the course for the TNT champion. Then we're going to go ahead and talk about no other than the man Mark Briscoe. What is going on with Mark Briscoe? Mark Briscoe's been losing and winning every single often. Ever since he lost the Ring of Honor Championship, he's been kind of lost. I don't know where they're going directly when it comes to Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe has been still doing his thing. Of course, being one of them boys. More importantly, he's happy, he's making his money, and he's providing for his family. But where they're going with him, just give it a little bit of time. And I think more importantly, I think I'll be invested with what direction they decide to go. But in overall, props to Mark Briscoe for hanging in there in that Collision match against Daniel Garcia. They really kept us all invested. And I wouldn't mind seeing them go at it again for the TNT Championship. Them boys put on a clinic, and I truly will be invested in seeing what they do and put on a showcase once again. But then we're going to go ahead and talk about everything that could have been a negative, but more importantly, a positive. We end up having a nice little promo that kept things running smoothly. It was the Death Riders. I don't know how I'm feeling about the Death Riders. I feel like the Death Riders are really just mid at best. With the whole entire storyline when it comes to them, It's not keeping me invested. It's been dragging. Then the AEW World Championship's been put in a briefcase. What more can you say about the championship? It's the prestige part of it. But is it keeping me invested? It's not keeping me invested whatsoever. I'm kind of disappointed with the way how it's going. It's becoming a little bit flat. The fans are not invested. More importantly, Tony Khan, what are you doing with the storyline? You need to get your act together. Fix the camaraderie when it comes to the locker room. Because I feel like AEW has lost their identity. Hopefully, we got some better outlooks when it comes to just the overall of what you're doing with the Death Riders. But show me something better with this situation and its storyline, and I'll be more invested in the long run. But other than that, has the storylines been a little flat? 100%. The storylines have been flat. It hasn't been investing to my liking. Collision has been a sleeper. I haven't really catched up on all Collision other than whatever highlights come along. I used to enjoy watching Collision back then when they first debuted under the banner with CM Punk. But the direction they have been going down is just like its own life support. Now Tony now has Rampage officially canceled, and now he can officially focus directly just on 2 shows. Hopefully, we get some better booking, some talent be able to come back into the likes of talking about Miro, as well as some other talent that have been missing, including Warlow and so many more. But of course, what's going on, Ricky Starks? I understand that he's on his way out, but use your talent because you're paying for him. Stop giving them free 99 money and have them show up for your television. You got them, use them to your liking, 100%. But let's dive right back into the promo from the Death Riders. The promo was okay for what it was. Was it like a rah-rah, like it gave me like I want to see more of it? It was okay. Of course, Willow Yuta and Tart running down about Jay White. And then, of course, Moxie had to intervene to let him know the situation, of course, about Cope as well as Rated FTR's involvement, including the contribution of what had happened, including the more problems they have. He talked about the championship and accolades that Cope had, but more than things, he just said, if you engage with the Death Riders, you're gonna go. It's gonna be hell on earth for you, and you don't want to deal with them. But in overall, we shall see. I'm not convinced, but look, he's got to pull everything out of his bags of tricks in order for me to be invested. But the promo was okay, and I look forward to seeing more of it. Then we had Jeff Jarrett, who defeated Aaron Solo in a quick match. He defeated him with a stroke. The match was okay for what it was. And overall, was I highly invested through the course of this match? No. Jeff Jarrett is over the hill, but of course, he wants to go for the AEW Championship. Jeff Jarrett renewed his contract, and he's now officially right back when it comes to being a part of AEW. And this is gonna be his last contract. But of course, you know him. He's like a promoter. He's like that itch. He enjoys being a part of that crowd, that feeling, and he never can get away from it. But in overall, Jeff Jarrett is a great legend in the business, being a Hall of Famer. More importantly, he knows the ins and outs of the business. Hopefully, Tony Khan takes credit for him to how to get the young talent over, as he did when he was in TNA. He even talked about that when it came to his remarks on Dynamite about how he started a business, how he came such a long way, and where he is now. When it comes to Aaron Solo, just another jobber on the list. Aaron Solo's just missing out. I don't know what they're doing directly with Aaron Solo. Aaron Solo feels he's just there. One of those indie guys that continue to keep picking up, and they have nothing for him. I understand he's getting paid heavily. He's been one of the originals, but is he getting the spotlight that he needs to? No. Is he one of those guys you can rally behind and be like heel or face? No, it was flatline. The match straight up was flat. The fans weren't invested, and Jeff Jarrett got the victory. Some people were chanting, "Let's go, Jarrett," and wherever the case may be. But was it an overall? The rest of them felt like out there in Charlotte, North Carolina, They was just sitting there like, okay, can we get something else? But we shall see what happens in that gauntlet next week, and hopefully everything turns things around. And then, of course, now we're officially in a new era of AEW for 2025. Hopefully, they got some good stuff going for us, and I look forward to seeing what they got going on. Then we get a vignette about the attack from Ricochet attack Swerve Strickland, taking him out on the edition of the January 1st Dynamite, bloodying him up, beating him down, battering on him, and having that Joker smile as well at the end. It was a good little vignette. What Ricochet is doing right now, he's killing the game. I'm enjoying everything what Ricochet has been putting in front of us. And Ricochet really has been finding his own since he's turned his new leaf, trolling the social media, getting at the fans in the best way he possibly can, doing a little old school John Cena laugh when John Cena first came in and find himself in WWE, but now he's using that the laugh when it comes to AEW. People thought he was mediocre. He's a talented guy, 100%. He flipped the switch so quickly when it came to him coming over to AEW. People thought he was just gonna be another flippy guy, but he's getting over. He's making it work. What he did to Swerve Strickland this following Dynamite on January 1st, when he took some scissors and he went at him, jabbed him in his forehead, and took care of business, and then became a little bit more serious after he was embarrassed after everything that took place at World's End. But more importantly, he's letting people know he's putting them on notice. But in overall, it's going to be good when it comes to that match between Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. But I'll be interested to see what they do with the pieces of the Swerve Strickland and Ricochet. It's going to be entertaining. It's going to keep us captivating. It's going to keep us interested. Only time will tell when it comes to just the overall of how they make everything flow. And you know, Swerve can go. He could put his body on the line at any moment. From staple guns to all that. But is Ricochet going to do that? Is he going to put his body? Well, he knows to do the flips. But on the hardcore side, I haven't seen Ricochet on the hardcore side whatsoever. And it'll be interesting to see if he can turn the page on the indie scene here in AEW and be doing this thing to keep us all highly invested. More importantly, keep us in the awe of being what he's known for, being Mr. Highlight Reel. So we shall see what happens in the course of that drama, and it should be good. Then we get to the AEW World Tag Team Champions Private Party. They were defending their gold. We had Isaiah Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. So we're getting them mixed up. They were defeated Leo Rush and Action Andretti via pinfall with a sunset pin after Top Flight got involved and initially caused Action Andretti and Leo Rush the actual pin. Things really broke down afterwards after the interference. And you could just see the frustrations on Leo Rush and Action Andretti as they were looking to get that payback at them. Just setting up for that new feud between Action Andretti and Leo Rush against not only Private Party, but as well as Top Flight. Give these three men the ball, and I will look forward to seeing this for the Tag Team Championship. It's kind of still a little bit of flatline in the Tag Team division, but if this is what they're giving us, I'm all cool for it. Just keep the chemistry, get them a little bit more reps and more familiar with each other. And trust me, they put on a Dave Meltzer 5-star caliber kind of style matches. But in overall, it was alright from my own personal opinion until the DQ happened. We should have had a clean finish, and then, of course, had Top Flight come over and brawl with them, but cost them in a way where it could have been a whole lot more smooth. But it wasn't a DQ, it was a pinfall. But I understand what they're going with the storyline. They're setting that pending drama between old Top Flight and the new Top Flight that are getting ready to mix together and put some not only high arsenal, but I look forward to seeing what they're doing. How am I feeling when it comes to Private Party's run? Private Party's tag team run has been mid when it comes since they became the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Hopefully they got something better for them. Hopefully they got some momentum to get them under their wings. Of course, I don't understand they beat the Bucks, but was that the actual clean finish for them to actually beat them a couple weeks back in 2024. I know that the Young Bucks have rumored to say they wanted the Outrunners to be the guys that they wanted to stick with, but Private Party, it was well overdue. But hopefully Tony Khan picks up the pieces and get the momentum back under them and keep things rolling when it comes to Private Party. They're known for being high, flashy, transitional when it comes to the tag team moves. All I want to see more of Private Party, but more importantly, get the fans back on the momentum of having been not only invested in them, but enjoy Private Party, how they originally were when they first came in. And let's get those shots. Now we're going to go ahead and get into the another vignette. They talk about the sidealignment of Darby Allin, who was taken out by no other than Death Riders. Had his neck crushed in, including other people who that was taken out, kicked down the stairs. And of course, they pan and talk to Cope now, Adam Copeland. He explained the confrontation they had with the Death Riders. Of course, that they took out Darby Allin, and he's there to defend AEW. Chris Jericho shows up. He interrupts the whole entire fiasco of everything that took place. But more importantly, he lets them know they respect him because he's a champion as well. But more than anything, Cope let him know, like, hey, the only thing I remember about you is you still an asshole. And Cope left. And Jericho said Cope was a dope back then, and he still is now. Then we get to women's action. Toni Storm defeated Deonna Purrazzo with the inside cradle for the 1-2-3. It was a whole lot of back and forth, and it kept me highly invested. I enjoyed how the flow of the match went. It was calm, cool, and collective. Toni Storm was still playing amnesia, like she had lost majority of her remembrance of what happened when it came to her being not only timeless, but she's playing a good role when it comes to her acting role. I'm enjoying everything what Toni Storm is doing. Toni continues to set the pace when it comes to how our overall performance has been. I know a lot of people being kind of confused, like what's going on with her. But she's playing her part. She's building that up. She's racking the wins. And then it's just going to play more mind games when it comes to her. And overall, when it comes to where she's going to stand when she faces Mariah May. I think she may end up losing it again, and she's just going to have a nervous breakdown. Then come back around when it comes to Australia. Get that victory over Mariah May. And become the AEW Women's Champion again. Maybe Timeless come back. Or maybe a new persona. Like the Faces of Foley, kind of, in a particular way. But I'll be invested to see what they do with Toni Storm. She's always been good in my book when it comes to the in-ring, as well as the promos. She always keep us captivating, and the fans love Toni. Toni continues to keep us the way how she's been doing. I'll watch every single time she's on our broadcast with no problem, even on Max, which has been crystal clear. But in overall, when it came to Deonna Purrazzo, I don't know where they're going with her and her limelight of everything. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna's just in the background. She's just been losing left and right. And I'm not enjoying it whatsoever when it comes to Deonna Purrazzo. But I'm loving the way how their team messed her up with Taya Valkyrie. Taya dropped a whole lot of weight, and she's looking a whole lot better, looking good. And I could see her eventually making her way back to WWE at some point. But more importantly, where Deonna Purrazzo is, I feel like she's just stuck right now. And they just have no creative plans for her. But they just throwing her on a random show. And of course, build with a little bit of build up. But it'd be highly interesting to see what they decide to do directly when it comes to Deonna Purrazzo. But hopefully they get some momentum for us to keep us invested through the course of whatever happens with her. So that's somebody you don't want to get rid of. And that's somebody you don't want to piss off. I think she's great for the roster. One of the veterans in the game that pretty much can elevate the women's division. And I'm pretty sure a lot of women would love to face Deonna Purrazzo. She's been the virtuosa. What more do you want from her? There's nothing else to explain. Let her go. Put her out there. Even with Serena Deeb, I feel like she's one of those girls that can go as well. And I feel like she's just getting lackluster shot in the foot, and pretty much just not being used. It's kind of disappointing, but hopefully they turn it around and keep us highly invested. Then we get to a vignette of Hangman, Adam Page, and Christopher Daniels. They argue in the backstage. Of course, they try to get a little talk with them, explain how everything was going. Christopher Daniels was trying to motivate Adam Page, but of course, Adam Page kind of dummied down and berated Christopher Daniels. While he's over the hill, he's past his prime. And then a brawl break out. Christopher Daniels wasn't playing no games, and he pretty much let Adam Page know, like, hey, you don't know this, and I'm the fallen angel, and you go eventually know in the near future. And then, of course, Adam Page said, you sure you want this? So, he's about to crack out again, and something's going to happen in that match, but I could smell it in the water. It's blood in the water coming when it comes to the situation. I believe Christopher Daniels got busted open from a headbutt when he headbutted Adam Page with the big old chrome dome. But it's all good, though. But I look forward to seeing that drama unfolds. Then we get to the 100,000 key speed fatal 4-way. Brian Cage defeated Dante Martin, Komander, the Beast Mortos, and pretty much things were all cool when it came to how things broke down. It was a lot of back and forth. We had interference from no other than Leo Rush and Andretti. They came down and pretty much caused things with Dante Martin. And of course, Brian Cage took advantage of that situation, hitting that Weapon X to secure the victory, looking like Wolverine. And he continues to find his niche as well. I feel like he's kind of lost in the shuffle too, but he still got the victory. And he's that one that pretty much got the victory for that, the 100,000 speed collision 4-way, wherever they're calling that. Kind of retarded, but it's all good though. Then we had a little backstage vignette or a little promo with the FTR and of course the runners. They're hanging out there with the Rock and Roll Express, and of course the Rock and Roll Express tomorrow that they owe them cash, whatever the case be, and a whole bunch of other issues. And of course they squashed the beef and did the old-fashioned Outrunners little handshake. It was an okay little promo, but it was cool, calm, cool, and collected to see the Rock and Roll Express back in town and making their faces for a little bit. Then we got to the main event. Rated R, FTR, Cope, Dax Harwood, as well as Cash Wheeler, and trios action against the Learning Trees of Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. It was a whole lot of back and forth with great transitional moves. Everybody was able to hit off a lot of arsenal. It was a lot of mayhem. But in the overall, the Big Rig and the combination spear was able to put away Chris Jericho to secure the victory for the 1, 2, 3. As rated FTR became not only rated R, but got the victory on the Max debut for Collision. And more importantly, they sealed the deal when it came to taking out the Learning Tree. And now they got to cope with it. Afterwards, we had a post-match little vignette, the Death Riders. They had the Rock and Roll Express taped up. Ricky Morton and Gibson, of course, were taped down. And, of course, the Outrunners tried to make the save of Magnum and Floyd, and they got beat down by the Death Riders. And then, of course, Moxley laid them out. And then the Rated FTR tried to chase them down after they came directly all the way from the ring to the back area where they were located. But what happened? The Death Riders went scary and they left. They handled their business very quickly and they didn't stick around whatsoever. They were out like it was a flash in the pan. They had no reason to stick around and they were out of there. They were like, we out. Yeet, see you later. We have no reason whatsoever to be here. And we just go hang out, chill, and make it work and just roll from there. But in overall, the main event was cool for what it was. I enjoyed the course of the main event, all the drama that took place, including that vignette the promo that took place afterwards when it came to FTR, and as well as the Death Riders, along with Cope. I'm not sure how I'm still feeling about that name change, but it's all good. But the drama unfolds when we continue to see what happens through the course of the closing of Collision. And I look forward to seeing how things continue to progress along the lines of AEW. But more importantly, I was invested. I look forward to seeing more of what goes on between that whole entire storyline. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to seeing it as well. But more importantly, let me know what you guys are feeling about the overall performance of AEW, not only on Dynamite and Collision, but just their overall cherry on top. Do they need to change some things up? For my personal opinion, I'm going to give it to you. I think they definitely need to change up the way the overall storyline need to be played out. They need to go back to their formula of day one that kept us highly invested, that had the chance chanting this is awesome. More importantly, find their identity to keep the buzz going. They're going into year 6, and it's so much that you could make them twists and turns. Of course, it's going to be about fantasy booking and pretty much keeping us all invested and seeing what maybe happen. But AEW needs to turn it around and keep us highly invested, or the fans are just going to lose interest, from my personal opinion. But I'd like to know from you guys' view what you like to see happen in the long run. But in overall, I appreciate you guys coming through and showing your love and support. More importantly, the three big key things I would like for you if you made it to the end of this video. You're a real trooper. More importantly, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, turn on notification. Until the next episode, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.